We all hate going through the security line at TSA, but one toddler found an interesting way around it.
Now to a toddler's wild ride at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
This 2-year-old climbs onto the baggage belt and disappears in an instant. The toddler caught up with all the other bags where he enters and passes through an X-ray machine. His horrifying travels then send him into a massive bag room where workers quickly discover him riding down the belt and rush to his rescue. Spirit Airlines says the boy passed by a section of our ticket counter that was not staffed or open at the time.
I was just freaking out, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope he's okay. I hope he's just enjoying the ride.
Yo, that mom is really chilled. I hope he was having a good ride. Because if I was a parent, that experience would have terrified me. Because the airline could have charged me for extra check-in luggage. Like, that's scary. And can I say, if I didn't see that video, I wouldn't believe the story at all. Because it sounds like the plot of one of those Baby's Day Out movies, you know? Yeah, like the kid goes in, and then he's in the cargo, and then ends up in Paris, and then somehow a cat burglar at the Louvre gets stopped committing a crime, and then they make the baby the president of France. Like, you did it, baby, you did it. And honestly, I even got a little scared when I saw the boy going through the X-ray machine, but it turns out it's not actually that dangerous. And it's also how they found out that he was full of cocaine. Oh, and just by the way, raise your hand if you were not surprised at all when they said it was Spirit Airlines. Yeah. Of course it was Spirit Airlines. I bet this wasn't even an accident. I bet the kid just found out that his parents were flying Spirit, and he was like, oh, hell no. It's like, I'll take my chances with the luggage. Spirit Airlines, the cargo hold is our first class. Moving on. If you saw the video of that toddler and thought, I don't ever want the stress of having kids, well, it turns out you aren't the only one.
The fertility rate in the United States falling to an all-time low. The number of births nationwide has been on the decline in recent years, but a study by the Centers for Disease Control says the general fertility rate dropped 2% among girls and women 15 to 44 between 2017 and 2018. That is the lowest number of births in about 3 decades, and according to the CDC, the fertility rate is now below the level needed to replace the existing population.
That's right. Fertility in America has now reached an all-time low, which means people aren't having kids. More people aren't having kids. More people aren't having multiple kids. I bet when Donald Trump saw this, he was like, yep, many of us don't have kids. Many of us, no kids. And Eric was like, Dad, you have me. He's like I said, we don't have kids. No kids. Now, I have a few theories about why this is happening. First of all, climate change. Yeah, because it's getting way too hot to have sex. Honestly, I spent last weekend just spooning my AC. I was just like, yeah, just me and you. But I think another problem is the terminology that scientists use. Because did you hear them? They were like, there aren't enough kids born to replace the current population. That's us. What do you mean replace the current population? They make it sound like if you have a baby, the baby's gonna look up at you in the maternity ward and be like, time's up, old man.